I want to thank you today for tuning in to the Connect Show. It's basically about connecting people to people. There's a lot of interesting stories about people's lives and the things they do, and that's what Connect is about. But we also have another segment called All Things Recovery, and the host of it is called IRCO, which is it stands for Iowa Recovery Rescue Community Organization, and it is a statewide organization made up of memberships of businesses and individuals, organizations that have in mind all things recovery and want to help Iowa with the problem of substance use disorders. And I'm glad you tuned in today because we're going to talk a little bit about a new project. We're just going to talk about the subject of substance use disorders. Maybe that's on my mind right now, but I'm glad you tuned in. And you know, I believe that every person has an assignment in life. And I believe that helping men, broken people, is certainly mine. I really feel a pull to help people with substance use disorders. I don't think it's anything that I did myself because I'm a good person or extra special. It's nothing like that. I really feel a call from God in my life to make a difference in people's lives. And you know, the Lord puts us all together different ways. We have different personalities, we have different perspectives, you know, we have different, just the way we handle things. I look back and I see how many different types of people, like for instance, probably the niche that God has me in, you have to be strong a lot of times, but you have to be super compassionate to help people with substance use disorders. It's definitely an entanglement, and if you've ever been entangled with a problem, you'll know how difficult it is to get out of it. And that's exactly what it is. It's an entanglement. And you know, I think about even where I grew up had something to do with the calling of my life. I grew up in what was called the Flats of Dubuque. The Flats of Dubuque was a very interesting neighborhood. It had a lot of very colorful people. There were neighborhood bars in my neighborhood. We lived along the railroad tracks. A lot of times there were hobos that hopped the tracks. I saw I think just about everything in a neighborhood like I was raised in, but it was the area between the railroad tracks and the river. And that was our little urban piece of puzzle, of playground that we played in. But I saw a lot of interesting people. I saw a lot of people that had problems. But I also saw, like my father and my uncle Cliff Freehag. My father's Louis Mihalakis, but also my uncle Cliff Freehag. Cliff had to go to Eldora when he was a boy. He didn't have much of a father figure, but he and my father started a auto parts business years ago, and it was called Independent Auto Wreckers. And my father went off on his own at one point because he had 9 children and wanted to have his own business, and started Dubuque Iron and Metal, Dubuque Paper Recycling. He had Dubuque Disposal Company. He had just a lot of spin-offs of businesses, but it was the type of folks that my father hired. My dad was not discriminatory in any way. He loved people. Cliff Freehag, he hired many people that come right out of prison. He didn't care. He wanted to help them. And that was the background that I grew up in. I was raised around elderly people, so how old they are or where they come from does not affect my perspective. And I'm thankful that I was raised in an environment like that. And I was raised in a family business. My father had a family business. So I'm thankful for where I was raised. Was it a perfect place? No, but it prepared me for today. And if you look at your background, you'll find out where you're headed. If you're wanting to do the assignment that God gave you for your life, you'll find out that where you were born, the parents you had, the very decorum you were raised in will have an influence on what you do. That thing that you love to do, and that's another thing, God puts a passion in your heart like he did for me to help people with substance use disorders. I can look back, I found a diary piece in 2005, and I felt God was leading me to look into substance use disorders and projects and helping people with it. And lo and behold, I looked, 13 years later, I started to embark upon a journey. Although really, in 2005, I also started a nonprofit called Operation Empower at that time. But at the very beginning, God was dealing with me to help people with substance use disorders. So I'm thankful for that. It's a real challenge. I probably like challenge. I played a lot of high school sports and college sports and excelled. Not bragging, but I think it prepares you. That's another thing it prepares you to show you if you make up your mind about something. That's the thing sports will do. Show you if you make up your mind about something, you work hard, you can achieve it. And this has certainly been a marathon, this last project that I've been working on. The difficulty level was certainly higher than what I had recently had done. But you know, you remember, you study history and the Prohibition, and people got arrested for bootlegging. My grandfather got arrested for bootlegging. Matter of fact, I think it was one Christmas he was in jail, and because he was such a good cook at the jails, they had him cooking for the men at the jails. But after World War II, a lot of men come home from the wars, and they were shell-shocked, and there wasn't mental health services available back then, and neighborhood bars started to spring up everywhere. And everybody that went to a neighborhood bar didn't drink. It might be for a Coca-Cola and a bag of chips or something, but they sprung up everywhere, and that helped promote drinking. And we look at our roots sometimes and how we've progressed. In the beginning, it was prohibited. It's just like a lot of things were prohibited, and now we're starting to see items like kratom. Kratom is connected to opioids, and it's just a bad thing where we're headed as a society. You can't open up the newspaper, the front page, and see an alcohol ad. That's troubling to me. You can't hardly go into a drugstore and not see alcohol. Some of the first things you see when you walk in the aisles, and it's all helping promote substance use disorder. It's definitely on the uprise. It's more, I think, more than an epidemic. It's becoming a pandemic. I don't know of a bigger problem other than maybe, you know, future military threats that we face as a nation, other than substance use disorders. I really think we are in a war, and right now we're not winning the war, and we need everyone's help to win it. And so I'm asking you to do your part to help someone. There might be someone around you. Don't just ignore them and judge them and think, oh my, you know, look at that. Well, they shouldn't have done that. The problem is they're entangled, and they're entangled in a big way. You can't embark upon drugs and alcohol and, you know, and just say, well, I don't want to do this anymore. By then it's an addictive personality. They have an addictive personality, and it's much more difficult. But I remember in my life citing a poem one time in front of a church, and it was a song, really, but it was a poem. I spoke it as a poem, and the name of it is Mending Broken People. It's actually a song. If you can get it, hear it. But it says, I want to spend my life mending broken people, relieving pain, you know, and it says, Lord, help me to see people that are hurting and to want to help the hurting. And I reach out to you today to help those, especially those that you see with substance use disorders, if there's any way you can help them at all. In 2005, I formed a nonprofit called Operation Empower, and basically it started because one of my tenants, at the time there was a ruling by HUD that if you had so many children, you had to decrease to like a one-bedroom. And I was upset with that because I had a lady that rented off me, and I saw a gentleman across the street that was on disability and lived in a two-bedroom apartment and actually had a pallet business on the side. And so I called up and I said, well, why do I feel, you know, I feel like you're targeting women with children. And we began to talk, and I said, you know, the man should have went to something like a boarding house, and that's where he said, we don't have enough SROs. And I said, really? And we began to talk. And at the time, the housing director was David Harris in Dubuque, Iowa. So I began to look into it, and I pursued it. And by the grace of God, we started a housing project called Manasseh House. And originally Manasseh House was for women, but now it's for single men. And you live in a beautiful community environment. I mean, everything is just, you'd have to see it. Hardwood floors, ceramic tile, everything is kept meticulously clean. No chaos. It's sober living. I don't allow drugs and alcohol on the premises. Everything is provided from paper plates to cleaning supplies, toilet tissue, all utilities paid, a landline, Wi-Fi, off-street parking. Very simple living, and believe it or not, the principle of housing first helps a lot of people get on their feet. And that I opened that up in 2007. I think it was July 2007. And then, and it was a war to build that, if you were from Dubuque during that time. But also, I went down the street and there was a dilapidated house and a couple empty lots, an abandoned railway, and we built the second project called Salvia Apartments, and it is single room occupancy for women. Again, very, very beautiful building. Matter of fact, the man that designed it actually won a Better Homes and Gardens Award. We have hardwood floors, just a gorgeous, gorgeous decorum, a loft. It's really beautiful, and it's very affordable. These projects go for like $475 a month, and there's coin-ops on site, but it has helped a lot of women get on their feet, just to have a safe place to go. They don't have to worry at night, am I safe? Can I afford the utilities? Because they don't have to pay utilities. So it really, really is a hand up to a lot of people. And I'm thankful that we could build Salvia Apartments, and we opened that like in September of 2010. So getting back to the substance use disorders, there's every bit of 200 people plus upwards a day that's dying from overdoses. It is truly, truly an epidemic in America. I think it's our #1 problem. Today I saw just a disturbing sight, and it was near my home. I saw a lady that was walking down a major thoroughfare, and you could tell that this woman was very, had a lot of brain health issues, truly, truly in a dangerous position. Matter of fact, I couldn't get out of my mind all afternoon. I've been thinking about it. But a friend of mine who saw the same gal showed me pictures, photos of big cities. Big cities are full of folks that are affected by substance use disorders. They're either affected by it, have a substance use disorder, or they have brain health issues because of the substance use disorders they had, that there just doesn't seem to be any help for them. They prefer to live on the streets, and it's alarming. Go to any big city. You don't even have to go to a big city. They're here right in Iowa. I feel like we have to do more, people. And you know, Iowa Recovery Rescue Community Organization, a statewide org. We have our website right now. We have our homepage done. We're going to launch it pretty soon, and then we'll have an application where you can become a member. And I hope you join. It'll be under www.iowarecovery.org. We'll announce it once we get all of that set up, but we're very close. So you can hardly, in many, many cases, say substance use disorders and not have some type of brain health diagnosis, because substance use disorders affect the mind. You can't get by it. And the longer it goes on, we lose as a nation. Every one of those people had an assignment in life, just like I have, just like you have. Yet they may never find that assignment because of what happened to them. I feel like we really have to do more than we're doing. And I hope the government and the public starts to step up to the plate and just say, what can we do? There are parents out there, they don't know what to do. They don't want to kick their child out of the house, because if they do, then that child, something could happen to that child and they could not live with it. Yet sometimes there can be codependence, and they enable their child to stay and utilize substance uses. So there's just we've got a big problem. You know, I never realized that there really was a stigma with substance use disorders until I started to get in this, and I realized the attitudes of some people. They're not really big in wanting to help them, but now what's starting to happen is that almost every family is affected by someone with this problem. Yet still, it doesn't seem to come to the surface when it comes to helping them, or collectively pooling our resources as a nation to really seemingly address the problem with the right things, with the right resources, with the right solutions. So I hope in Iowa we can do that. But a stigma is a mark of disgrace associated with a particular circumstance, quality, or person. And people that have substance use disorders like to isolate. They don't mind hanging out with their peers, but they like to isolate. They may have problems wanting to be in crowds, may have problems wanting to look people in the eyes, avoid people. It's because of that feeling of disgrace that they feel. And that breaks my heart, because a lot of people have a lot of problems, not just substance use disorders, but yet there's not seemingly, substance use disorder seems to be one of them, one of the top 3 that have more stigmas associated with it than anything else. You can have someone that lies all the time, but it's not looked at as bad as substance use disorders, or somebody that gossips, or that type of thing, or hatred or unforgiveness. So anyway, next thing I'm going to talk about is our next project, which is called Liberty Recovery Community. That was birthed because I found someone off-site of our projects. I found that person dead, and it was related from alcohol overdose, long-term alcohol use. My heart still bleeds the thought of what could have been had this person lived. Would have loved to have been a part of what we're doing, but Liberty Recovery Community was birthed because someone died. I felt like I told God, you have to help me find some way to help them. So this was birthed, and it's kind of a first of its kind. It's kind of a hybrid, but it combines affordable housing with recovery services, all under one roof, under one campus. It's located at 2216 White Street in Dubuque, Iowa. We are feverishly trying to finish the details. This has been a marathon of sorts. It's taken a long time. We started in 2018, and here we are in 21. We're finishing up the last touches of the project. We're landscaping, we're doing paint retouch, any little thing that isn't right in the projects, we're fixing those. And then also the Recovery Center is basically it's a beautiful 4,200 square foot bank. We're rehabilitating it. It actually won an architectural award. It's a beautiful building. Both of these buildings are in a beautiful white brick. They complement one another. They look like they've always been there. It's on 3/4 of an acre of property and a high visibility corner. But what excites me more than anything is we're getting to the end of a building. And if you would like a tour sometime, I'd be willing to do that. But I look forward to the day that we open up and I see people coming through. We have all of our services all ready to go. We're working on many, many things right now with this project. We're hoping to open up in October. I think that's a realistic goal. But whenever you work on affordable housing, you have a lot of deadlines and you have hurdles and obstacles to overcome. And you're working towards that finishing date. And then you have to get everything approved before it's labeled ready to go. Tomorrow we have an elevator inspection. It's just a lot of little pieces to put a project like that together. It's very labor intensive. But the Liberty Project will consist of 24 affordable one-person single occupancy apartments for people with substance use disorders. Okay, people may come out of treatment, they may come out of drug court, they may come out of incarceration, out of corrections. They may be folks that have been in the community and have struggled with it, but yet have gotten on the right road to recovery, and we want to help them. Our application will probably be online, and you can go to www.operationempower.org and kind of sift through it. Once we'll put some new photos on there probably pretty soon. In the next several days, we're getting our parking lot all up to snuff and getting it striped, and it's really coming together. All utilities are paid. We will probably have a $100 book fee because we will have classes and courses and things like that in place. We will have services such as on-site groups. We'll have relapse prevention. There'll be some counseling, case management. There'll be social events. There'll be therapies that we will do. There will be life skills, wellness. We're just going to try to put in our center everything that we can think of to help them. We're also going to help them find employment, financial management, help them to overcome fines and just unpaid bills that just didn't get addressed because of mismanagement of funds. We really want to look at this as a holistic way of approaching this. I think that, there's going to be rules. There has to be rules. There has to be accountability. And we will definitely have that at Liberty Recovery Community. When you think of the fact that there's always been a huge problem everywhere in the country. There's not enough recovery housing for when there's a huge gap from the time someone leaves treatment till the time they really find the journey and make the journey of a sober lifestyle. So they come because of Liberty Recovery Community, and not that there's not help out in the community. I want to praise the help that's out there. When you're talking outpatient, you're talking detox, inpatient treatment. If it were not for that, our nation, we'd really be lost. Even the churches are reaching out to folks. There are NA and AA groups in communities. Thank God for those people that have, thrown their hat in the ring and want to help. And I want to say thank you to everyone that's involved in this. But we're just going to be another piece in the mix where, people can refer people to us. I imagine all over Iowa, people will come. I wouldn't be surprised if we get potential residents from Wisconsin or Illinois. We're right on the tri-state border in Dubuque, Iowa. It's not that far away that we're going to be opening. And my heart is that as time goes on, I can't wait to see that first tenant. I'm thankful for all the people that gave, yet we're always going to need donations to keep Liberty Recovery Community afloat until the day comes that we can financially take care of ourselves totally. That may take a few years, but I always believe what God wills, God builds. That's a Perry Stone famous line. And that what the Lord has begun, the work that He has begun, He will finish it. A lot of times when you enter into projects, it's a leap of faith. You can't always say, well, this is going to happen and this is going to happen, but if the Lord wills it, He will build it. And we have had miracle after miracle after miracle of just divine interventions to cause this project to happen. And I really hope that you get on board with IRCO. Soon you'll be able to access our website. I hope you get on board with Operation Empower and want to donate, or you want to volunteer, you can always call me at 563-599-2980. Love to hear from you. I love to take you and give you a tour and let you catch the vision. Many have. It's a gorgeous facility. Every week that goes by, we add some touch to it that improves it. But I'm just waiting for that day, when we can honestly say we're open and ready to go. In time we'll have an open house. But really my heart's desire is seeing lives transformed. And I think with the proper atmosphere, peer-led, peer-supported community, it's all about community. It's all about recovery and a positive, joy-filled environment, and equipping people to not just get well themselves, but to go out and reach our communities. We have to do that. No one greater to reach someone else that has a substance use disorder than a person that has overcome it themselves. And I believe people can overcome it. And that's what we want to do. We want to help people. I just want to say thank you for every donor, but please look, and if you can donate, please help us. Go to www.operationempower.com or call me 563-599-2980. I want to thank you for tuning in today. It's just been a blessing that you would hear our broadcast today, watch it. We've got a lot of people watching our building going up. You can view us on Facebook, Liberty Recovery Community, Operation Empower. You can find us on Facebook, or just give us a call. There anything you want to know about our project. But again, just if you can help us so that we can find the resources and the finances that we need, the more folks we can hire to help us, the more we can help these folks find a sober lifestyle. So I just want to say a big thank you, reaching out to Dubuque and any donor that ever gave to us. Just thank you for helping us. We so appreciate everything and every volunteer that helped, and we have volunteers and we're thankful for them. So thanks for tuning in today. God bless you, and stay tuned for greater things.